Welcome to Spotlight on Narrative POW. Today we explore a character from 2012's Dredd.
Well, you got one now.
May we suggest that many strong female characters, even when done well, have been overlooked or simply discarded. Okay, maybe there weren't that many back in the day, but with the MCU, Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, and so on, we all have a perpetual monument, an ever-extending Mount Rushmore, if you will. Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor are great characters and undoubtedly made it onto many a mountainside. But who else would you etch out of stone? For your consideration, we submit Cassandra Anderson, a fictional law enforcer and psychic appearing in the British science fiction comics 2000 AD and Judge Dredd. She was created by writer John Wagner and artist Brian Bolin. Anderson made her debut as a supporting character in the Judge Dredd story, Judge Death. Her on-screen incarnation is fantastic. The film itself, a cyberpunk masterpiece. Granted, the genre is not often represented particularly well on screen. Dredd may have changed that, had anyone supported it. The film also stands as one of the best creative uses of 3D in recent memory. Though the character of Judge Anderson has a rich comic book history, the purpose of this video is to address her on-screen depiction, so the focus will remain there. Anderson has a solid character arc, in that she grows more confident in her strength as the movie progresses. She basically flunked out of her opportunity to be a judge, but due to some psychic gifts, she's being given another shot at it. She begins as an unsure, almost hesitant rookie. You could even say she's a bit meek. If you were going into this film with no prior understanding of these characters, assuming typical, formulaic archetypes, you would expect Dredd to have to protect Anderson, keep her safe. You might think she will ultimately look up to him and maybe even become sexually attracted to him. However, you would be wrong. The film doesn't lean into Anderson being a woman, and it doesn't play out these tropes. Despite Judge Dredd being a formidable masculine presence, he never treats Anderson as anything more than a rookie and a hopeful for the station of street judge. Sure, you could argue that her fate is in his hands, but you could also convincingly argue that this film isn't even about Dredd. Anderson is the one that goes on the journey. She's the only character with an arc. She's not the same person by the end of the film. She's stronger, more comfortable with who she is, and she comes off as being more accepting of certain realities, less naive. She starts off the film as needing to prove herself to Dredd, but ultimately completes the mission because she is proving something to herself, that she has what it takes and will see justice done. Not so she can be a street judge. By this time, she's given up on that ever being the case. She's trusting her instincts, acting on intuition. She's no longer driven by the same desire. When captured, Anderson rescues herself. In fact, she saves Dredd's life and reaches the film's finale not as a sidekick or even Dredd's partner, but as a ready street judge, though she doesn't yet recognize herself as such. She proves that being a judge isn't just a job or a goal for her to achieve. It's in her nature. It's who she is. This is what earns her Dredd's respect, despite her no longer seeking his approval.
Rookie, you ready?
Yeah.
You look ready.
Anderson is played by Olivia Thirlby, who is a solid actress and pulls off a good performance as Cassandra Anderson. While the character has a comic book legacy, one has to wonder, why was Thirlby's incarnation not better received by filmgoers? For someone who's not all that familiar with her comic runs, I will admit that getting a little more of her journey, even being considered for the position of street judge, would have helped flesh out her character a bit more. But as it stands, she's a solid co-lead. Was this film mishandled? It was advertised as being in 3D during a time when the resurrected interest in 3D was coming to an end. To the film's credit, the 3D worked and was incorporated into some rather haunting slow-motion effects. However, to casual movie fans, this may have seemed like a typical action flick grasping at the latest gimmick. At the time, Karl Urban, who played Dredd, was not as big a name as he is now. Even the film's villain, notable in her own right, was played by Lena Headey. However, she had only just started playing the iconic role of Cersei Lannister on Game of Thrones. It could be argued the flick lacked star power. It's for this reason that the 1995 Stallone adaptation ditched Dredd's iconic helmet and leaned into the marquee name. However, star power isn't the seller it once was, even back in 2012. No one could say for sure why the flick wasn't the hit it deserved to be. What is for sure is that Anderson, is a strong female character, and I wanted more of her by the time the credits rolled. To see more of this character's evolution play out as she takes on her role as street judge, it's a missed opportunity that came down to the film losing, well, more than a bit of money at the box office. If you haven't seen Dredd 2012, check it out. If it's been a while, revisit it. If you love cyberpunk, this is a good example of it. If you want to explore the character of Cassandra Anderson, definitely peep this flick. And that does it. Thank you for watching Spotlight on Narrative Pow. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to see more, please hit like and subscribe. By all means, drop us a comment. What do you think of Dredd 2012 and its incarnation of Cassandra Anderson? Till next time, the Spotlight is now out.